Welcome to Daily English Stories. Every story hides a world. Some inspire, some haunt, some stay forever.
Chapter 1. From Nothing to a Dream. In a small house on the island of Madeira, Portugal, a little boy was born who would one day conquer the world. His name was Cristiano Ronaldo dos Santos Aveiro, but back then he was just a shy kid with a ball at his feet and a dream too big for his tiny hometown. His family lived a simple life. His father worked as a gardener and part-time kit man at a local football club, while his mother cooked and cleaned to keep food on the table. Money was always tight, and sometimes there wasn't enough for proper meals. But what the family lacked in wealth, they made up for in love and hope. Ronaldo's father introduced him to football when he was just a child. Every afternoon, he would kick a worn-out ball against the wall for hours, imagining himself playing in a big stadium one day. He didn't have fancy shoes or proper gear, just raw passion and a heart full of fire. Even as a young boy, his energy was unmatched. His teachers often complained that he cared more about football than schoolwork, but Ronaldo had already chosen his path. He wasn't dreaming of grades, he was dreaming of greatness. At the age of 7, he joined a local team called Andorinha, where his father helped as a kit man. The other boys were bigger, stronger, and older, but none of them could match Ronaldo's determination. When he scored, he celebrated like a champion, running across the field as if the whole world was watching. People started noticing the little boy with incredible speed and an even bigger heart. As he grew older, Ronaldo's talent became impossible to ignore. At just 12 years old, he was offered a chance to join Sporting Lisbon, one of Portugal's biggest clubs. It meant leaving his family, his island, and everything he knew. But he didn't hesitate. His mother cried as he boarded the plane to Lisbon, a small suitcase in hand and dreams heavier than his luggage. For the first time, he was alone. A boy far from home, chasing something no one else could see yet. Life in Lisbon was not easy. He missed his family deeply. Sometimes he cried himself to sleep at night, wishing he could go back. His classmates teased him for his accent, and many doubted he would ever make it. But Ronaldo had something rare, a relentless spirit. Every challenge only made him stronger. He practiced longer, trained harder, and pushed himself beyond exhaustion. When others left the field, he stayed. When others gave up, he started again. Then came a moment that could have ended it all. At 15, doctors discovered that Ronaldo had a racing heart, a condition that could have forced him to stop playing forever. For a boy whose life was football, it was the most terrifying news imaginable. He underwent heart surgery, a risky procedure for someone so young. But just days after the operation, while others expected him to rest, Ronaldo was back on the field, running, training, and smiling. Nothing could stop him. Not fear, not pain, not even fate. That was the moment Cristiano truly became unstoppable. He wasn't just playing for fun anymore. He was playing for his family, for his father who believed in him, for the dreams of a poor boy from Madeira who refused to be defined by his circumstances. His story had just begun, but the world was already starting to take notice. From that tiny island, a spark had been lit. A spark that would one day shine brighter than anyone could imagine. Chapter 2. Rising to Greatness. When Cristiano Ronaldo stepped onto the field for Sporting CP's first team, he was still just a teenager, skinny, fast, and full of unshakable confidence. The crowd didn't know it yet, but they were witnessing the birth of something extraordinary. On that night, he played with fire in his eyes, dazzling everyone with his speed, skill, and courage. Among the spectators was a man who would soon change his life, Sir Alex Ferguson, the legendary manager of Manchester United. In 2003, at just 18 years old, Cristiano signed with Manchester United. It was the moment his dream crossed borders. Moving to England wasn't easy. The weather was cold, the language was foreign, and the expectations were sky high. Many thought he was just a show-off, a boy with tricks but no substance. But Cristiano knew how to silence doubt, not with words, but with work. At United, he trained harder than anyone else. While others went home after practice, he stayed behind, perfecting his free kicks, building his strength, and pushing his limits. His teammates would laugh, saying, "Ronaldo never stops," but that was exactly what made him different. He believed talent was nothing without effort, and that belief became his secret weapon. It didn't take long for the world to see his brilliance. His dazzling footwork, blistering pace, and unstoppable desire to win made him one of the most exciting players in football. He led Manchester United to victories, won the Premier League, and helped them lift the Champions League trophy. By 2008, he was crowned the best player in the world, winning his first Ballon d'Or. The poor boy from Madeira had become a global superstar. But success never made him comfortable. It made him hungrier. In 2009, Ronaldo made a record-breaking move to Real Madrid for $131 million, becoming the most expensive footballer in the world at that time. The pressure was immense, yet he carried it with grace. Wearing the famous white jersey of Madrid, he began a new chapter, one that would define his legacy. At Madrid, he met his greatest rival, Lionel Messi. The world watched as two extraordinary players battled for football's throne. Year after year, their competition pushed both to levels never seen before. For Ronaldo, Messi wasn't just a rival. He was a reason to improve, to evolve, to become even better. Every goal, every record, every trophy was a statement. Hard work beats everything. Ronaldo's years at Real Madrid were the stuff of legend. He shattered records, scoring over 450 goals for the club. He won 4 more Ballon d'Ors, 4 Champions League titles, and became the all-time top scorer in the competition. He was unstoppable, a machine driven by discipline, obsession, and the unbreakable will to win. But behind the spotlight was a man who never forgot where he came from. He remembered the hunger, the tears, the sacrifices. Every time he stepped on the pitch, he carried his past like armor, proof that nothing was impossible. His teammates described him as demanding, intense, even relentless. But deep down, it wasn't arrogance. It was a promise he made to himself, to never waste his gift. Ronaldo's rise wasn't just about football. It was about self-belief, dedication, and resilience. He showed the world that greatness isn't born, it's built, one drop of sweat at a time. From Manchester to Madrid, from a young boy with a dream to a global icon, Ronaldo became a symbol of ambition without limits. By the time he reached the peak of his career, he had already rewritten the story of what was possible. He wasn't just a player anymore. He was an inspiration, proof that no matter where you come from, discipline and determination can take you anywhere. Chapter 3. The Legend Beyond the Game. When Cristiano Ronaldo left Real Madrid in 2018, The world wondered, what could possibly be left for a man who had already conquered everything? He had won trophies, broken records, and etched his name among the greatest of all time. But Ronaldo was not chasing titles anymore. He was chasing legacy. He joined Juventus, a new challenge in a new country. The critics said his best years were behind him, but he silenced them once again. In Italy, he proved that age is just a number when matched with dedication. Every morning, he was the first to arrive at training and the last to leave. His discipline remained unshaken. No distractions, no shortcuts, just the same hunger that once drove a barefoot boy on the streets of Madeira. At Juventus, Ronaldo continued to score goals like a man possessed. He led the club to league victories, shattered Serie A records, and inspired a new generation of players with his professionalism. But even as the trophies kept coming, his life was beginning to evolve beyond football. He had become a father, a role he cherished more than any award. With his children, Cristiano Jr. and his little twins, the fierce athlete turned into a gentle father. His home, filled with laughter and family love, became his greatest source of strength. In 2021, he made an emotional return to Manchester United, the club that had once given him his wings. The stadium erupted when he stepped onto the Old Trafford pitch once again. It wasn't just a comeback. It was a full circle, a reminder that some stories never truly end. Though times had changed and challenges were new, the same fire still burned within him. He continued to lead, to inspire, and to give his best, always. But life, even for heroes, is not without heartbreak. In 2022, Ronaldo faced one of the darkest moments of his life, the loss of his newborn son. The world saw the strongest man in football cry. His pain was beyond words, yet he stood tall, reminding everyone that even the mightiest hearts break. What defined him wasn't his fame, but his courage to move forward, for his family, for his fans, and for the love of the game. Beyond the stadium lights, Ronaldo's greatness extended far beyond goals and trophies. He became one of the most generous athletes in the world, donating millions to hospitals, children's charities, and disaster relief efforts. He visited sick fans, supported causes quietly, and used his influence to spread hope. His philosophy was simple: if you can help, you must. Ronaldo's journey has never just been about football. It's about discipline, sacrifice, and the relentless pursuit of excellence. He showed that success is not an accident. It's the result of daily effort, self-belief, and never giving up, even when the world doubts you. Even as his career moved beyond Europe, from Manchester to Saudi Arabia, one thing remained unchanged: his passion. He still trained with the same fire, still demanded more of himself than anyone else ever could. To Ronaldo, greatness was not a destination. It was a lifelong commitment, and perhaps that is his true legacy. Not just the records, not just the trophies, but the mindset he left behind. A mindset that tells us no dream is too far, no goal too high, and no challenge too great. Cristiano Ronaldo, the boy from Madeira who became the pride of millions, reminds us that hard work can turn impossibility into history. His story is not just about winning games, it's about winning life, with passion, purpose, and humility. In the end, when the cheers fade and the lights dim, what remains is not just a legend of football, but a man who inspired the world to never stop believing.